what wubz is able to do.
Ooh, yeah, Cassidy is a wild character, and I don't know if I could probably put that into words, but we'll see some visual examples soon enough. So I don't have to explain things, which takes the pressure off of me because I am very, very bad at explaining things. We have one quick sig hit with blasters, lures him away from Hammer, trying to get a dare to connect, try to send him off to the stage, and maybe a bit of a disadvantage with the struggle. Still can't get anything to connect. Lands a second. Are the only attacks that wubz has landed so far signatures?
I mean, wubz is able to get like the D-light into the signature, excuse me. But finally, that's a D-light into the recovery. Okay, backing up a little bit here, able to get the downer, and now all of a sudden, wubz, it is your time to be able to close out the stock. Somehow, going to be looking for the end sig, unsuccessful in actually doing so. Looking for the cider now, looking for the D-light cider. Oh, but Cyclone able to get in there, finds a cider of their own, jumping out there, gets the neutral, and wubz is actually not going to be able to make it back onto the stage. Cyclone is taking the lead.
All eyes on wubz, seeing how they decide their next few movements, picking up the Halo Blasters. Sidelight doesn't lead to anything. He tries to use dares at Touch Me Not, but still, Cyclone able to send him on a bit of a ride himself with those guitars. And actually, we have not seen any scores from Cyclone. It's really just been the guitars here dancing around on stage.
Yeah, it's just been the guitar so far, and finally, that's going to be the KO confirmed from wubz, and you have a bit of damage to make up with. I'm surprised that wubz is going to be sticking to the hammer and not the blasters, because I feel like blasters would be a little better at attacking on, like, you know, some long extended combo strings in the early damage, but also guitars does a pretty good job of jumping in against blasters.
Right now, the game is not quite even. Small lead for Cyclone, but still, it can be very, very easy to take out, especially with heavy hitting hammer. If we land a few more bonks, we could be seeing an even kill for wubz right here. Even you said it yourself, that first stock. MVC is so unfortunate in some ways, and maybe wubz is just like, you know, play better. That first stock wouldn't have happened, but also, if wubz played better, that second stock wouldn't have happened either. You can see almost completely running out of options, panicking to get back to stage. And Cyclone's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that was just good spacing with the D-light, right? That's what Soyu does so well. And you have to go up and around it. You can't really contest that Soyu D-light just because of how disjointed it is. And so at the moment, Cyclone going to be able to get that down, not able to combo it into the neutral light. But this is actually a massive opening, a massive lead, excuse me, to have against wubz. That's kind of crazy. Cyclone is consistently whiff punishing wubz over and over and over again.
Also, spot dodging through the nair to then land a dare is fantastic from wubz, proving, you know, a lot of players, as they come through here in the first game, isn't as quite like full throttle. They need a bit of a minute to warm up, but wubz at the tail end of game one, starting to show some of his true power and really start to wake up. Right now, Cyclone, I think, is already coming here warmed up. I got a feeling the guy just ended off a ranked game when he got the DM saying, hey, you're on, buddy.
That's it.
Oh, hold on, though.
Hey, the neutral right off the top. And now, all of a sudden, wubz going to be depriving Cyclone of a weapon here. We got still a fresh stock to be able to work with. Able to catch that jump. Okay. Cyclone picking up the guitars now. Backing up a little bit. Waiting. Looking for the downer. Looking for the cider. wubz, you have a lot of damage to make up for at the moment.
wubz, KO color. Cyclone gonna switch over to sword. Very smart choice because we mentioned the D-light. He's been pretty good at spacing out the D-light so far, but wubz even better.
That juice dodge was crazy. Cyclone
right
almost got like that was almost the nastiest outing. I wonder if that would have been enough to take it off the top. Maybe not quite. Maybe you need a neutral after. But wubz wanting to finish it all with the ground pound makes it back onto the stage. And this is something that I see over and over again. The amount of people that jump back onto the stage with hammer cider and the amount of times that I have seen it be punished. You cannot contest with Soil D-Light at the ledge. It is so disjointed. It has so much space. And I feel like 5 times out of like half the time I see a hammer player jump back on with a cider, they do end up getting punished for it. So Cyclone taking game number 1, and that's really unexpected because it seems like Cyclone is a little bit newer to this part of the tournament.
Got both players saying GG's, go next. Cyclone can be playing opening pretty confident. Dashing right to the middle of the stage. But we got wubz actually picking up the first weapon of this game. Lands us another signature. I think we're going to see a pattern here with opening with 2 signatures and And that's just the way that wubz opens a game. So we need to see a second sip. Come on. You did this the first game. We know wubz is a pretty funny guy. There it is. Opening the game with 2 signatures in a row. All right, now time to play the game.
It is funny that I feel like the amount of signatures that wubz has been connecting is like more than regular normal moves, but that's what kind of Cassidy is for, right? Able to get that side sig down. Now that you have Cyclone off stage, you come off with that side sig once again. Cyclone, now you're in a bit of a nasty position. Just able to dash land onto the platform, very slick way of getting back onto the stage, and wubz is looking to clean up the stock. Able to get the side light, but not able to find the closing sider. Sig comes out, and still not enough to be able to take it off the top.
Dude, Sandy Peak is going beast mode.
It's a lot of side sigs. It's a lot of side sigs and a lot of end sigs, excuse me. So at the moment, wubz still struggling to KO. Finally able to connect that down and Cyclone. I keep saying Cyclops. Cyclone knocked down to the second stock.
Yeah, we don't got Cole on stage, but still wubz. If wubz drops it down to this 2-0 deficiency, we might have to see a core coming out because the hammer's looking pretty good. It's the blasters that are maybe a little bit behind because there was only just 2 sigs that were able to land. Blasters last game is right now both players being a little hesitant to try and connect to anything, but wubz immediately breaking out of the gates. Wubz does not want to lose this stock, and Cyclone does not want any extra built up against them and is able to deny some of this extra credit. Wubz dropping down to stock recovery hits doesn't lead to the easy feel like. Instead gets hit with an like the face. Bot dodges out of a dodge, and wubz is able to use their own dodge to land yet another N-Sig and tries to go for a Schnasty Nair, but still both players.
And so the amount of times that Cyclone is actually getting caught by these N6 is like a very good indication of like, hey, you need to stop jumping in this really predictable way. Katari's does a really good job of staying above you diagonally and then using that as a way to jump in, but wubz has now been consistently punishing it. And now all of a sudden, wubz has to make it back onto the stage, looking for the side light, looking for the end light into the recovery. Good dodge from wubz, just able to avoid it. Okay, no side sig quite yet. Picking up the sword now, you need a D-light recovery, but wubz still not enough damage for that end-light to send him too far out.
You mentioned guitar player, they like something diagonally above you. It is going to be the sword taking out that second stock, but you mentioned guitar players being diagonally above you, and that can be good until you remember one, that can be a bit easy to read, and also the fact that wubz has hammer, and what is a fantastic move on hammer? It's going to be Nair, right in the way that guitar dare might be. So this hammer into guitar match, this might actually kind of matchup-wise, if you just look at a tier list, I think it might already be leaning towards hammer a little bit more, maybe just a tiny bit. Still, Cyclone making this look like the matchup is in favor of a Surrey, which, I mean, it very is likely that it is that way, but still, Cyclone is throwing any message.
I cannot wait to see at the end of this game the amount of signatures that wubz has connected relative to like the other attacks. So, you know, once again, the third N-Sig is finally going to be able to KO Cyclone here. Cyclone just going to be waiting on to pick up the next weapon. Is it going to be the Katars? It is. So Cyclone just backing up a little bit, looking for that opening, gets the side light into the downer, goes off stage looking for the neutraler, unsuccessful in actually connecting it though. wubz not able to get the double neutraler there either. That's another N-Sig, and that evens up the damage.
Listen, wubz is not spamming N-Sig. Cyclone is spamming get caught by N-Sig. And although isn't spamming it, gets caught by a few rounds. So this is looking like anybody's game. wubz is actually really starting to get in Cyclone's head and make him look that first game was just a really good fluke, but maybe not so much, because the side sig is not even enough to bring him back. And we have a floating Ashuri taking us to a game 3-2-0. And yeah, no, I'm gonna say it one more time because I still think it's one of the funniest things for the entire fighting game community. wubz is not spamming N-Sig.
Show the chart. We need to see the chart. We need to see the chart, please, before we get into this game. I need to see this chart ASAP. I'm begging you. It is so funny. It is so funny. The amount of signatures that wubz threw out last game, 26 with 46% accuracy. 67 light attacks with 16% accuracy. That is crazy. Half basically virtually half to a third of the moves that wubz threw out last game were signatures. And I don't even know what to say about that. Wow. That's just absurd. That is so funny to think about. The amount of N6s. The N6s really carried wubz last game around, and they seem to be doing the same exact thing this game so far.
Cyclone was also doing a really good job of trying to bait out the dares during these above ground interactions, and then trying to land a nair or recovery or what have you, or really whatever the next best option is behind those two. But no, wubz' movement is actually really stepping up. Like, the guy was, you know, stepping around, he was dashing a little bit, but like this is, you see how many times he's pivoting to try and make sure that his approaches are going to be hard to read, and trying to make sure that like he's not going for anything stupid, but really only things that are, if it's dumb and it works, it's not dumb, and a lot of stuff he's going for is working, but unfortunately does get caught by that Qatar recovery. But still, you know, wubz is really warming up. This set is going on, and wubz is just getting better and better. Maybe the guy's in here for the long haul.
Yep.
Maybe this is just yet another Game 5 player that's going to bring us around for a ride.
wubz looking for that GCD light now. Okay, just gonna be opting to go back to the hammer. wubz just not able to close this so far until you finally get that side. That's not enough in isolation though. Cyclone just gonna be now desperately dashing to be able to pick up that weapon. It's gonna be the sword, and finally the N-Sig comes out. Alas, Cassidy, not enough force to be able to take it off the top quite yet, and Cyclone is still somehow hanging onto the stock.
Ledge guard, very dangerous for Cyclone. Doesn't get hit by the N-Sig, but does get hit by the M-Light. wubz chasing, looking to restrict the space. Chooses not to weapon guard, and oh my goodness, that rewards him quite nicely. And waits to weapon guard before taking that first stock. Game pretty even, but also considering the damage that Qatars can build up so quickly, this could be looking like it could ride in Cyclone's favor very swiftly. But still, yeah, no, I'm gonna keep being impressed by wubz' movement. It is looking not only so much better than how it was the first two games, but we're starting to get into schmovement territory. Like, this is, if the ladder goes movement, schmovement, groovement, wubz is definitely showing us some pretty good schmovement. But that schmovement's gonna have to
and he's moving all the way to the blast zone. Cyclone just able to get that edge guard, just able to clean up that stock with the side, and it just feels like wubz has not been, you know, that comfortable with Cyclone jumping in on him. Cyclone whipping that down, and no whiff punish on it, and instead just able to find a side light. You get the end light, you get the jump call out into the recovery as well. Cyclone is now lapping wubz in damage completely. Cyclone is on the verge of 3-0ing wubz.
Spring is the season of upsets, my friends, and as wubz is dipping down into ketchup, soon to be barbecue sauce red, the guy still showing us a sign of life and reaches all the way up for the ground pound. Still not enough though. That's the line of recovery to get him back, but a recovery of his own. Cyclone is not able to find connection. Still, Saracen's off to the side, dips down, the fastball could cost him his life, but right now off the side of the stage, the recovery is not enough to bring him back. Cyclone pulling another massive upset this weekend. I'm gonna say it till the servers for this game close. Spring is the season of upsets, my friends, and Cyclone giving us a grand time.